guys, welcome to the Central Podcast where we unravel the stories behind the fragrances we love. I'm Bernie from Heavenly Central, and with me today is my man, Chris, also known as Fragrance Overload. How you doing, Chris?
Yes, sir, Bernie. We're doing amazing as always. Anytime we get in a room, anytime we talk about fragrances, and anytime we're able to smell good, it's a good day.
Man, and you're smelling good today, man. You are smelling amazing.
Don't make my head too big, Bernie. Don't make my head too big. I appreciate it.
Yes. And so today we have an amazing topic. Today we're going to be diving into some new fragrances.
Yeah.
You already know what we're going to be talking about. But for you guys, we're going to be talking about a fragrance called Castley. It's been the talk of the town, too. Yes. Everybody's talking about it. And we're also going to talk to Chris, also known as Fragrance Overload, and we are going to be asking him some questions about his journey, through niche perfumery to becoming a content creator, and all of those questions that we want to find out. We want to see how he started and where he's at now. And we're also going to talk about La Jetée Perfumery, where we had Italian Gourmand Night, which was a wonderful experience. And Chris, you called it a movie.
It's a movie, man.
It's a movie. What a beautiful place. And we're going to talk about La Jetée because, man, we have a gem in Orlando. And so in this first segment, Chris, I want to talk to our viewership about becoming a fragrance content creator. And so, Chris, you and I know that content creation is not easy.
Not at all.
It is tough. It is highly competitive.
Yes.
And in the past few years, it has become very, very crowded.
Yeah.
Now, how can a content creator stay above the fray, in these days that we're living in now?
Yeah, man, Bernie, I'm so happy we're having this conversation because I'm sure somebody right now in our audience is, who loves fragrances, but who has always been so afraid to maybe get behind camera, may not know exactly what goes into it, may feel as if they may not be well equipped, and, they might be a little afraid. And today we're here for you to let you know exactly what all the things you need to know about content creation, the start, the finish, the oversaturation right now of what's going on social media in terms of the amount of people that are creating content for fragrances. And I got to let you know, rule number one, when it comes to creating content, you just got to start.
Yes.
Yeah, you just got to start.
You got to start. So let me ask you this, Chris. How many bottles or how many fragrances did you have when you started collecting or content creation?
Yeah. So, it's funny for me because when I started creating content, I used to just watch other content creators. I used to watch, not to name drop too many people, but like Jen Sense on YouTube, Bowtie Fragrance Guy, Big Beard Business, Mr. Cologne 76, those gentlemen. And I used to watch their content and I used to see in their backdrop the immense amount of fragrances that they had. And I was always so afraid, Bernie.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I would love to share my love for fragrances, my passion for fragrances with others, but I can't compete with these guys.
Yeah.
These guys have hundreds upon hundreds of bottles. And so, it all started out for me by just saying, hey, man, I put, on my Instagram, I just said, hey, if I created content on fragrances and lifestyle, would you, as the friends that I had at the moment, would people be willing to go ahead and follow, and would they like it? And it was a resounding yes from everybody who saw it. And then so from that moment on, it kind of really gave me the confidence for me to say, you know what, even though it's just to these small amount of people, even if it's 1 or 10 people who watch and who comment, I'm gonna go ahead and take that leap of faith. Because, no one is gonna bet on me but me.
Yeah.
So it starts with me. And so that's one of the things that really helped push me out there to really move forward in doing the content creation thing.
That's really good, Chris. And I was going to ask you, I was just thinking about this because I was thinking about when I started. Do you remember your first reel? Do you remember your first, video that you created? Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah. So I still keep them. Every single reel, every single video, I still keep them. And sometimes I go back and I watch them. And sometimes it's a little cringy. You're like, oh my gosh, And so, it's talking about like, hey, the lighting isn't perfect. the angles aren't right. And, I didn't have any backdrop. So I was literally in front of a gray wall.
Mm.
And then I just went up and I set it up. My wife, my camera woman, my editor,
Yeah,
she's
she does
there.
a good job.
Yeah, she's there. And then she's like, okay, whenever you're ready. And, it took multiple takes. Now we could take one take. But back then, stuttering and fumbling on your words, you're like, wait a minute, I'm using this adjective too much. And so we went, set it up. And the first one was for Fragrance Fridays. And so I was like, if you want to smell good, check out these 2 videos. Check out these 2 fragrances or these 3 fragrances, something along that line. And at the moment, I only had maybe about 15 bottles of fragrances, that I owned. And so I went forward with it. And I only used to post once a week. And we all know with the algorithm, you can't post once a week to grow.
Yeah, it's so true.
So I didn't know. And I was just out here posting just once a week every Friday. And then, women who would watch would say, oh, do you have anything for women? And I would do twice a week where I would do Women Wednesdays and I would do Fragrance Fridays for the fellas. And that's how it all started for me, man.
Yeah. And so for people considering, becoming a content creator, and I know you've already talked a little bit about that, but what advice would you give to them in this day and age where, there's just so many fragrances to select from? How would your approach be if you were to become a content creator today?
Yeah, becoming a content creator today in this day and age is you got to go ahead and first off have blinders. Set goals for yourself. What it is that you would like to accomplish and what you actually want from creating content. Some people want to go ahead and say, yo, I want to do content creation full time. But some other individuals say, hey, I want to do it just to share my love for, fragrances. Some people are driven by numbers. Oh, I want to make sure I get X amount of followers, this amount of reels. Some people I want to receive gifts and I want to, no longer have to purchase fragrances, all that type of stuff. But for me, setting your blinders and having your goal is the number one thing, knowing what you're in this for.
Yeah.
And sometimes people are in it. I can tell you, you can tell, we've spoken about it. We feel like some people are in it really for the love of fragrances. And unfortunately, I feel like some people are in it just because it's a phase, just because it's what's, popular now. But, really find out for yourself, if you want to create content, what it is that you want, and to most importantly, be authentic. Man.
Yes, yeah, that's so important. Being authentic is very important, and being consistent too.
Absolutely.
Because if you're not consistent, people won't trust you.
Yeah.
And so you got to be consistent. I heard that from somebody today. But I also wanted to mention, there's a big misconception about us fragrance influencers. That all the bottles that we have in the back are given to us. Can you tell us, how many fragrances what percentage of your fragrances have been given to you?
I would say maybe 1 or 2, or let me be generous, maybe about 5%.
Okay.
But other than that, everything else has come through hard work, dedication, making the sacrifice to go out, purchasing these fragrances on my own. If all of my collection was given to me, I would be an extremely happy man.
Oh, yeah.
And, that it would be amazing. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that.
It doesn't.
And you and I both know, especially when you talk about niche fragrances, chances are none of them are gifted to you.
Yes.
Until you get to a certain threshold, and chances are it's you going out there making a sacrifice. It's you, some people now, I guess it's very popular to trade fragrances.
Yeah.
That's not really my speed, but that's what people are doing. And so that's something that people do. And so a lot of times these niche fragrances, man, you are coughing up your own money, your own dough, your own cash to get them to add to the collections.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, because every time I talk to somebody and they see my collection, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, were all those given to you?" And I'm like, "No, all those were not given to me.
Don't we wish?
Those were earned with hard work and dedication and a lot of cash."
Yeah.
So, but since we love the craft, we have to collect, and that's what we love. So. I was going to ask you, Chris, my next question to you is, are there any particular content creators that have been influential in your life, that have inspired you, in one way or another. If you can pick, like let's say just one content creator.
Yeah. And you know what? People are probably going to say this because, we're the dynamic duo. But if there's one content creator, I would have to say it's you. And the reason why is I sit back and I watch the craft and the hard work you put into it. People think we just wake up and create content, but you have to set you have to set the right amount of time and the craft that goes into the different costumes that you put on, dressing up all the time, making sure you're sharp all the time, being creative and going to different locations to shoot. That takes a lot of hard work. And to somebody out there who think we can just wake up and create quality content, that is a lie. That is a fib. That does not happen. It's just like anybody who's a very great athlete. You have to practice, you have to dedicate time, and you have to repeat the process over and over and over again and make those sacrifices. So for me, the more I watch your content and watch what you're doing, and it's not just about getting behind the camera, the events we got to go to, driving the distances, putting certain things on the back burner so we can prioritize, create. All of that is part of content creation.
Yeah, sacrifice.
Yeah, it's a sacrifice for sure. So, you would be the number one and the easiest answer for me to go ahead and put out there. But if I had to choose somebody else, I would say Mr. Cologne 76.
Yeah.
He's a very influential aspect of content creating, but also in my journey. Because, believe it or not, you do build relationships and friendships with certain people within the community.
Yes.
And those friendships last forever. Like I consider him as the frag father of the community.
Because he is.
Yeah, for sure. And so with the conversations that we have, and sometimes I might have a question. I remember earlier on in my content creation journey, I had questions I had asked him. The same question that you just asked me about gifted fragrance. How does that work? How do you get noticed? How do you really create connections? And, he broke it down to me. We spoke about it time after time. He's always active in the community. It doesn't matter to him how big your page is or how small it might be. He is so supportive. And also the things that he is doing with Black Owned Fragrance Week and other things behind the scenes. Those things to me shows me not just content creation or him as a content creator, but him as the man.
Yeah, him as a person.
Yeah, him as the individual, who he is in his core.
And he cares.
And so, And so for me, outside of you, it would have to be him if I had to choose somebody else, because I know people going to say we biased, but we not, but it would have to, those kind of things or things that stand out to me.
Yeah.
Those are important.
Yeah, well, that's really good, Chris. I know that we had talked, and I remember you had mentioned to me something that happened to you, where a certain brand reported you for brand infringement or something like that, and they had your IG or Instagram account suspended.
Yep.
What happened? Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, man. So as you know, we all like fragrances, and anytime there's a new drop, you want to be one of the very first people to really talk about it, but also you get excited.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I want to get my nose on it. People have been talking about it. People have been hyping it up, and you want to go out and you want to talk about it. And for me, it happened, I want to say maybe it was last year, I think, or so, where I went to LV. They had dropped a brand new fragrance, Lovers, and I went over there, the nearest one here in Orlando, I went in there and I recorded some content. I talked about how many great options that they have, because people typically think of LV back then. It was really just imagination. It was just Ombre Nomad, those type of fragrances. But I really wanted to really smell the number of fragrances that they had, and just to really kind of make my own, mind up about those fragrances. And I went in, I recorded my content, I did a nice little voiceover on it. I even went later on that night, I went to City Walk. And when I was walking by, somebody stopped me in my tracks after spraying Lovers. He said, "Oh my gosh, what are you wearing? You smell so good." And I said, "Yo, that's the new LV Lovers, man." He's like, "Yo, it smells amazing. I got to go ahead and check it out." And I said, yeah, for sure. So I get home, I upload my video and all that kind of stuff. And Bernie, I kid you not, I want to say 48 hours later, I received notification. One of my friends hit me up. "Hey, yo, what happened to your page?" I said, "What you mean what happened to my page?" It said, it's gone. I'm like, no, it's not there. Like, I mean, it's there. Like, there's no way it's gone. And I tried to log in and they said it was gone.
Wow, they shut it
Yeah,
down.
they shut it down. And when I, asked why, it's, for reasoning. And they said it was that, the whole copyright situation. And I was just like, man, that's crazy. And it hurt me because I'm giving you free promotion.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I wouldn't understand why a brand would do that.
And so I'm not sure if it's because I tagged them in my post and they didn't like that or whatever it was. And, I kind of did some research on some brands who have gone in and really had people's accounts suspended. And, that's one of the brands that came up that they do those kind of things, that they want only specific individuals to talk about their product at that time and so on, whatever. And then so, till this day, I've made it in my mind that it could have been them. It could have been someone else, that just reported it and so on. And when I tried to get the page back, they told me, no, it wasn't. And so that was a big hurt obstacle, really.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was big because I stopped creating content for some time.
Yeah.
I was
very discouraging.
Yeah, it was so discouraging, man. I was just so frustrated. I was beside myself. I was just like, man, I'm beaten up. Sacrifice.
All the content, all the videos,
gone.
The reels, everything gone.
The connections you make with people, gone. And you can't use the same name for people to get you. You got to create a whole brand new name and everything.
Right.
Yeah, it was gone, man, and it's tough. And I know that I'm not the only creator that has ever happened to. It has happened to other people. Other people have told me, hey, mine got shut down because of this, or hey, mine got suspended because of this brand. So even now in the community, posting about certain brands, I don't at brands that I know or that I don't know or creator friendly. I only at brands that I know are supporting, the ones who like other creators' work, the ones who comment, the ones who follow. Those are the only brands I add. Other than that, I'm not adding you.
Or
I'm just
tagging
no, not at all.
Yeah.
I've learned my lesson, man. I've learned my lesson.
That's good. And so how did you overcome this period? Because I know if that happened to me after I've worked so hard, put so much time, effort, customs, trips,
Of course.
Man, that hurts. That hurts.
Yeah.
How did you say, I'm going to come back. I'm going to do this. Where did you find it in yourself to do this?
Well, I think the first thing is I got to give a big ups to my wife. Just this one's for you. I love you very much and I thank you for all of the support. But she was the one that told me like, hey, you got to man up and go through this process and then get back to on your high horse. Get back and keep moving forward. And I was like, I just don't know if I have it in me to go back, knowing where I was, the trajectory that I had been moving forward in the community, the connections I made, the people that I knew, so on and so forth. I don't know if I have it in me to go back in and to restart all over. And she's like, no, whether you do, whether you feel like you have it in you or not, you just got to do it. And I remember I made my first post and it was about saying, hey, I know some of you guys have been wondering where I've been. This and this and this is what happened. And, to not my surprise, because I believe that the community is a great community, very supportive creators out there that really, truly care for you. But people were just it was overwhelming love, man. Where people really was like supportive. It's like, hey, they reposted, go ahead, refollow and so on. And then, after I dropped that video, that reel, maybe about a month into it, I became more consistent because I'm like, I still have the goal. I still have what I want to accomplish and I still know where I want to go with creating content and with my love for fragrances. And so I just went ahead and, put on my boots, and I got to work, man.
Yeah.
And let me say this.
Yeah.
LV, if you do want to apologize, I do accept gifts. We just want to let you know the Central Podcast accept gifts. So go ahead, send something over,
Yeah.
We'd like to go ahead and flatten this beef out,
For sure, man. Well, that's a very, very encouraging story. And it happens to all of us. Happens to all of us. There are moments in life where, where we get hit. But we just have to, shake it off and
get back up again
and keep punching because that's what it's about. It's about keep punching.
For sure.
And so, but I'm glad you're back. I remember when this happened to you.
Oof,
I did follow you right away.
The pain, the agony, the hurt.
Yeah.
Just talking about it. But yeah, man, we're happy, man, that we are able to be where we are now, man. And thanks to the community, man. I say this all the time, and I mean it. Fragcom is one of the best, most supportive community out there.
Yes, that's true.
Whatever, you think, because of some rifts that might happen, creator, blah, 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 whatever it is, man. Fragcom overall is one of the most loving,
Yes.
supportive communities you could be a part of, man.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I know that when I see it happen to other people, Fragcom is, always comes
Yeah.
running, to try to lift, those people up.
Mhm.
And very supportive for sure.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm glad you were back. I'm glad you came back because, you became my co-host. And
Yes,
not only
sir.
co-host,
Yes,
man, you
sir.
could be the host of the show by yourself. but and that's what I really appreciate about you is that, your content is very organic. It's very, it's just fun, it's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
fun
yeah.
to watch, very light. And you always have those one-liners that always makes us laugh. And so, but beyond that, you're also, a great man. And man, I'm proud, man. I'm proud to have you
Oh,
here with
man,
me
it's
on
a
the
pleasure.
Central podcast. And man, I can't wait, to do, many more podcasts, with you.
Oh, yeah.
Because I believe we got a lot, terrain to cover.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Without a doubt, man. Without a doubt.
Yeah. So, all right. So moving on to our next segment, and I know you've been waiting for this one. This is your favorite part of the program. Today, we are doing the Central Spotlight, and we are checking out a fragrance. I don't have a full bottle yet because Neiman & Marcus is not selling them until the 26th, but I was able to get a little decant of Castley. And so we are going to be checking this one out. Let me spray it. And I really like this one, Chris.
Hey, man, I am excited. I remember when you told me, man, I was able to get my hand on something. I was excited to go out there and to smell it. It's, PDM has always created amazing fragrances. I love their cool weather, fragrances, but they have some incredible warm weather gems, freshies that are incredible, man.
Yes.
Come on, Bernie. This is fresh. This is clean.
It's clean, yeah.
Some beautiful spices in
spicy,
there.
yeah.
This is classy.
Very classy.
This is classy.
Yeah, and I know people were comparing it to another fragrance, Gay and Made Boys Imperial. I don't think it smells anything like it. There may be some like metallic in there, but nothing like nothing like those fragrances that that I've heard people talk about. Now, let me tell you the notes, Chris. So here we begin with top notes of bergamot, black pepper, and ginger. Man, and the ginger in this is so beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
Wow. And then, then the spiciness kicks in. You have pepper, you have neroli, you have petitgrain, and then you have timor. And then at the base, you have akigalawood, benzoin, and labdanum.
You know what's crazy is talking about the ginger in here, it really adds a little bit of a fizziness. And I also get a slight ice cold, like an ice cold.
Yeah, almost like you're smelling ice.
Yeah. About it. Nature about this one is.
It has a cooling effect.
It's really good.
Yeah, I smelled this one. I told my wife, "Hey, babe, I want this one."
Of course.
That smells, it smells incredible.
And you know what? Living here in Orlando, the temperature is through the roof already. Yeah. So something fresh, refreshing like this, with the nice spices, on a nice, beautiful day, it's almost giving me sophisticated but playful, anytime, anywhere type of feel. I feel like you could dress this up.
Office friendly.
Oh yeah, for sure. You could dress this up. You could take it to the office. You could go to the, just out with a pure, nice white shirt on. Go out, and it still does its job. It's still really, oh man.
Yeah. I think this is really, really good.
This is nice.
It's a great release by, Parfums de Marly. And, and to me, it's no surprise because, every time they come out with a fragrance, it's always a good one.
Yeah.
But this, to me, I mean, a freshie from them,
yeah.
High quality freshie. Listen, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. It's citrusy, aromatic, and it hits, it checks all the boxes for me, man.
Yeah, man.
And the bottle, man, I had to look at the bottle, the presentation, it's clear, kind of like a clear gray. So it's beautiful, beautiful presentation. And yeah, I can't wait to have it in my collection. But this is one that I'm definitely going to add to the collection.
And I think you borderline need it going into this season.
Yes.
I think it came at the perfect time for this warm weather season. And, this is a beauty, man. And, this is what I got to say, man. You need to get your nose on it to make your own, ruling on this fragrance. Create your own thoughts and ideas, because you'll have some individuals who will tell you this is bland. We don't need this, blah, blah, blah. And then you have some people who tell you this is incredible, like we are telling you right now. But for those who really love perfumery and who understands the purpose behind this fragrance, not every fragrance is made to be beast mode. Not every fragrance is made to be, a date night, kind of sexy, alluring fragrance. Sometimes you just need something fresh, clean, nice, with some nice spices in there.
Yeah.
To really turn some heads. And this right there fits that category perfectly, for sure.
Yeah, I like it a lot, man. I like it a lot.
Same.
And this is very classy, very elegant. And sometimes, it's hard to find an elegant, fresh scent. And this
that
one
has character too.
That has
and
character.
This is one.
Yeah, for sure.
This is one for sure.
Wow, that's beautiful, beautiful. Love it. So what do you think? Are you going to add this one to the collection?
Bernie, you already know it's a no-brainer out here, man. Come on. It's a no-brainer for sure.
Yeah. Man, so excited about that fragrance. And listen, man, I am going to pick it up. Don't tell my wife.
I won't.
I told you, but she's probably watching, so I'll get in trouble when I get home.
Cindy, I tried to tell him to not do it. I told him not to do it.
Yeah. So moving on to the next segment. We recently spent some time at this beautiful spot here in Central Florida.
Yes.
And for people that don't know, it's called La Jetée Perfumery, and we have their bag here with us today. And so we were celebrating Italian Gourmand Night.
Yes.
And so I called it the Dolce Vita meets La Jetée, the sweet life meets La Jetée. And man, let me tell you, what a sweet night that was. Can you tell our audience just a little bit about what happened at La Jetée this past Saturday?
Man, so it was an incredible thing. Like I always say, it's a movie anytime I go to La Jetée, man. And we had, the treats flowing. We had the fragrances there, the conversations, encounter and smelling different scents from these two beautiful fragrance houses, introducing that nice, Italian vibe along with the nice gourmand vibes you got for it. And I got to be honest with you, Bernie, I'm not the biggest gourmand fan.
I know.
Right?
I know.
I'm not the biggest gourmand
I know
fan.
That.
But man, those were some great fragrances to check out. And for those who doesn't know what gourmand is basically saying when a fragrance has these kind of like qualities that make it a little bit edible.
Yes.
The qualities that make it kind of feel as if it's sweet enough to eat, that type of thing, or reminds you of food. So that's what gourmand is. And I gotta let you know, those are some great fragrances, and they're not excessively heavy.
Yeah.
They were very appealing. They were not nauseatingly overly sweet. So, man, it was a movie being there, man. And it was incredible the time we spent at La Jetée, like it always is.
Yeah, I mean, there was so much energy. There was, it was definitely a vibe about just the entire place. There was cannolis. There was Italian treats.
I think we ate a few.
Yeah, I know, we did. I ate a few, man. I'm not gonna tell you what I ate, man, but I ate a lot. But I ate a lot. And so I think there was two brands that were they were highlighting, and one was Profumo di Firenze, which creates some incredible fragrances. I have some back here. This one is XXV Marzo, which is one of my favorite scents from them. One that you guys need to put your nose on. And then this other one is called Obscurus from Profumo di Firenze, and this is like it starts off bright and then it just darkens, but it's a gorgeous scent. And so two of my favorite, but so they were celebrating them, and then they were also talking about, there was another house they were talking about, I think it was Nobile 1942, and so they had a fragrance there called La Danza delle Libellule. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but it was beautiful. It was sweet, it was vanilla, it was cinnamon. It was, it was just one of those dessert type of scents, but man, it smelled amazing. It smelled just incredible. And so also we also, we also got a treat here. There's a fragrance in here called Buontalenti by the same house, Profumo di Firenze. And this right here is very popular on social media, and everybody's talking about this. Is this is pretty hyped up right now, and this is another beauty. So just another one to check out when you guys have a chance. But yeah, man, La Jetée was such a great experience, and I think for us perfume connoisseurs, it's the spot, man. It's the spot.
It's amazing.
We learn a lot, and there's just so many people that go there, with the same interest, and and then they have a library of fragrances that I have never even heard of.
Yes,
and that to me is always awesome, because we're always trying to find the next and the best, and there you kind of get overwhelmed with so many fragrances.
You do. Sometimes you got to step outside, breathe in some fresh air a little bit, and then go back in and restart. But it's incredible, and there's no party like a La Jetée party.
Yeah, there isn't.
There's none like it, man. They're friendly, they're kind, they're accommodating, and just having the opportunity to meet other fragrance lovers within your area. So La Jetée is truly a blessing for us here in Orlando, knowing that we have this incredible library of fragrances right over here, at our disposal to go ahead and check it out, get our nose on it. And what I love is the fact that when something new is out, something hot is out, they got it.
Yeah, they do. They do. And man, what a time. And I really love, just a beautiful, beautiful perfumery right across from a beautiful lake. They are in the perfect spot in the city of Orlando. And so if you haven't been to La Jetée, guys, make sure to make your way to La Jetée Perfumery. They will take good care of you. They're very attentive. And they are just awesome. And so, Chris, what an amazing conversation, brother. This conversation has really been, really, really enlightening. And and so, we're running out of time, but I just wanted to take a moment, to say thank you, to everyone for joining us. Thank you to Chris for being here with me. And you all, feel like family to us, and we want to encourage you. Again, like we said in our previous program, if you have any questions, we encourage you to ask us questions about everything we've talked about, whether it's been about Chris's life, my life, whatever we have talked about. Please, you can submit those questions on YouTube. You can submit those questions on Instagram, and, or you can just, directly message us on any of those platforms. So, feel free, to share your thoughts. And make sure to, keep it locked, keep watching us.
Yes.
And listen, there are many more topics. The next topic that we're bringing is going to be very interesting. So make sure to stick with us, because the Central Podcast is here and is here to stay. And like I said, we are all in this together.
Always. And, it's very important. We really appreciate you guys for the support. And I'm telling you, you don't want to miss it, because we having special guests coming up. We're having breakthroughs about fragrances, unboxings. We're going to be talking and going in depth about fragrances. So you got to keep it locked. You don't want to miss it. And you already know, if you're trying to smell good, if you're trying to look good, and you're trying to feel good, there's only one place to be. And it's here at the Central Podcast. And when you got the trifecta, then it's game over. So for my man Bernie here with Heavenly Central, I'm your man, Fragrance Overload. Keep it locked and always tune in to the Central Podcast.
You got it. Until next time. Ambassador for a very famous house. And it is a house that a lot of fragrance